Let's allow today's practice to begin with a witnessing meditation. And the aim and the benefits of practicing being the witness is that we allow whatever is in the landscape of the mind to be acknowledged and noticed, but to not be flowed along into or with. So as much as we can, we find ourselves in that witness role of being able to observe and at times, hopefully, watch. And if we find ourselves getting tied up in the content of the mind, then that's quite normal. But it is that act of just really noticing when it happens and coming back into being present as much as we can, knowing that as we're practicing with our history, the way that we operate, and the way that we tend to orchestrate our own kind of inner world. So none of that is particularly easy at times. So let's go in with a whole lot of compassion for a practice that won't be perfect. And we know that right from the beginning. So it's okay. As you nestle into your seat now, take a moment just to get the body in a position that feels right for you. And I find it's often some micro adjustments that make the biggest impacts. So as you just feel into your own body here, notice where you might just need to adjust a little. And perhaps it's just the angle of how your spine is seated. Maybe it's the positioning of your head above your neck. Perhaps it's the feeling within the belly. And just notice where you can now just start to become a little more comfortably placed. And as your body finds a place where you can sustain for the next few minutes or so, knowing that you can always adjust as we go, I'm going to ask you to feel into that grounded quality of being in your body. So just feel the grounded quality, the places where your body is contacting the supports. The support, of course, perhaps of your cushion, support of your yoga mat. Maybe deeper than that, you can feel into the support of Mother Earth. And just let your body feel that full potential of your weight. So you're not holding up your weight anymore, letting your body and its weight come down softly and gently into the floor. And then resting in your body. Relaxing the shoulders, resting in the arms and the hands. Can you rest in your next few breaths, letting them easily come and letting them go again. Letting the breath be restful. Easily it comes. Simply it leaves. And feeling your body just acclimatize to that softness of your breath. Feeling safe and supported in your practice this morning. And just gently bring your attention to your eyes and slightly turn the eyes in towards your third eye center. No strain for the eyes at all. It's a gentle reposition, as if you were looking into the back of the third eye, the center between the eyebrows. And let your attention be watchful. Let your attention now be the one of the witness. And as we open up into the expanse of our mind, allow yourself to look inside and notice today what arises. Watchful, observational, witnessing. You can feel the body's support. Can you sense your breathing? As you are here observing, watchful, witnessing. And as we remain in the state of being the witness, staying with the present moment, available and open as we watch. And in the role of witnessing, there's nothing that we need to do. Perhaps we experience the fluctuations of the mind, noticing a thought might come. Simply staying as the witness and allowing that thought process to be acknowledged, and without any further interaction, allowing that thought to pass on by. We're going to try that for the next minute here. Engaging as the witness, the observer. Simply become the watcher, the witness of your own mind. Just like the ocean, our mind may show us different fluctuations, thoughts, visualizations, ideas. Noticing them as they arise, because we are the witnesses here. Just simply watching, observing as they pass by. One more minute now of complete immersion where I don't speak and you just dive on in to the witness quality within. Last 60 seconds. remaining in the present. For these last few moments, come back into being present and slowing things down internally, taking our last 3 breaths. And then feeling into your hands, feeling into your palms, your fingers, your thumbs. Let's raise our hands and rub the palms together. This signals us back into our body. We feel the pressure, the touch, the warmth, and we take it up over our eyes. A gentle shield from the light. The touch of our own hands on our skin, calming for the nervous system. And in your own time, taking your time, gently spreading the fingertips, opening up the eyes, and releasing your hands down away from your face. Welcome back into the space, everyone. Let's take our practice onto the mat. I'm coming into child's pose to begin with today. As long as that feels okay for your body. If not, we can lay back and knees can be gathered into the chest. Child's pose would be shins connected, feet connected to the earth, reaching forwards with our hands and our arms. Finding some comfort in this space for our bodies to now place themselves in a way that we can stay. And if at any time that doesn't feel okay for us, coming onto our backs and knees can come to chest. And let's feel that very deep anchoring of the hips back towards the heels. A slight separation of the inner thighs so that the torso can reach forwards and down. Making sure that your head or your forehead region is supported enough that you can let go of the back of your neck. And in doing so, making sure we can breathe so there's access for the respiratory system through the nasal pathways. And if that doesn't feel quite right, just adjust. Turning the head to one side is one of your options. And we've come through this beautiful portal, this entry point into the practice through the meditation, the witnessing quality within. And without being stringent or without being overly disciplined about it, I invite you to bring it through as a feature in your practice. Just to notice when you're able to be the witness. And then also at times noticing when you're not. And as we start to settle in and our bodies find an edge, we become a little more heavily placed. Don't forget that also with Yin, it's about letting go within. So the observation of witnessing is very easeful today. Letting our bodies find a way to let go of any stress, tension, or deeper accumulations that have been gathering inside of us. Maybe we feel that as we breathe out in a few successive rounds. Where can we let down? Where can we breathe something out? And as your head feels that support, as the neck is letting go, feel into the release around your jawline, your inner mouth. And of course, letting go of any expression on your face so you can relax all of those small muscles that sit around the eyes, the mouth, and the forehead. Watching in the present moment as it arises, the fluctuations and the simple quiet spaces that show themselves within the mind. Last minute and a half here now. Dropping into your witness practice. Observing the open, vast space within the mind. And staying in the witness role as much as possible today. Now moving into our last final 3 rounds of breath. Noticing and sensing how present you can be. Feeling that final 3rd breath, exiting and leaving the body. And then taking your time to slowly come out of the pose and exit the shape. There was deep flexion for the hip. There was some deep flexion for the knees. Feel free to move through the legs. Your circulation may have accumulated in that lower half of your body for a little while now. The circulation is relieving of the sensation that may have built up there for the last 4 minutes. So just take your time to encourage the circulation through some movement or an alternate shape of some kind. Accompanied by a deeper breath, always, in all ways. The breath is so beneficial for what's happening in our bodies. Okay, so as we're moving out of the shape, you are just moving or maybe resting. Find your way. And when you're ready, let's move into tabletop. Let's come to hands and knees, everyone. And making sure your wrists are comfortable with the palms down against the ground. If not, make fists or rest your hands on blocks. We're going to take our bodies through some spinal rolls. So now instigating some movement patterns. Inhale to lift the heart, sink the belly, raise the seat bones, and exhale to arch back into cat. Continuing these movements on your own and really going slow so as to feel into all of the different little places. There are 33 vertebrae in the back, around about that for most of us. And so let's see if we can bring some articulation or movement patterns through the bony joints of the spine. It makes sense to locate the tailbone and move there, as well as the opposite end, moving up your awareness into the neck also. The ripple effect of these two areas being movement based is that the whole of your spine gets to get free with the movement. So if we emphasize the tailbone and the neck, the whole rest of the back body follows with it. Let's take one more of each. Really slow it down. And then coming into a flat back and neutral spine, let's take a few circles with the pelvis. These are called round the world movements, where we gently arch back towards one of our heels. Like a child's pose, we sit down to both heels, and then we move forwards and over the wrists, lifting the heart center through. And then we continue arching all the way back, whirlpooling the hips back, lifting the heart forwards when you bring the shoulders above the wrists. This helps us stretch out through the sides of the body, the lumbar spine, the kidneys, the side ribs. We'll do one more rotation in this direction and finish with the shoulders above the wrists. Let's go the opposite way. Do you need to spread the knees wider? Do you need to reposition the hands? Of course, look after yourself. Breathing with the movement as we follow through with the sensations that are arising from our bodies. Last and final 2 rounds. And then coming back up with the shoulders right above the wrists. Let's bring our knees together, taking both shins together and off to one side. Let's sit down on the bottom. And from here, we're going to take the right leg forwards in a straight sense, in line with the right hip. And then the left leg, you can position either way. We can bend the knee out sideways, or we can bend the knee in towards the midline. So your choice for an external rotation, or like the knees are coming together, an internal rotation here if you like. Using your prop over to the right side, I'm working with a blanket and a block today. You might use your bolster. We're going to slowly lean the right elbow and the right forearm on the support. And then lifting up the left arm overhead, bending the elbow, we take a little side stretch. Now just go to your very first edge, everyone. Just be really conscious of finding a way with your sensitivity today. Knowing that over time, this sensation that we feel initially could amplify. So we go very slowly and gently into the side bend. Keeping the weight as evenly as you can through both of the legs, although you will definitely feel it in the right hip more. See whether you can relax and sink into the left seat bone. Relax and sink the weight into the left thigh and knee. Rather than tensing it, see whether you can relax into the left side of the pelvis. And if you need something between the ear and your shoulder, a soft cushion, your jumper folded up, or perhaps a block to hold the head in a comfortable way as the neck is gently stretched to the side. And we are mainly concentrating a side bend, a lateral side lean into the lower to mid-back region. We are opening up the left side of the body, the stomach, the spleen, the descending colon, opening up into the left lung, opening into the heart. Now, of course, if you need to adjust, do so. Your body might start to open up over time, and so lowering the support under the elbow on the right might help. But for the next couple of minutes here, we've got 2 minutes to go. We ground into our body and witness and watch what goes on in the mind. Simply observing and staying as present as you can. Option to adjust the left arm if the shoulder feels like this is too much. Always option to swap your props around if you need. Keep softening the left hip. Keep dropping into the left inner groin and thigh. And see if you can just stay with the witnessing of the mind. Watching as the thought arises. Stepping back from it and allowing it to pass on by. Thoughts like clouds in the sky. Last minute. Resting in the body, resting in the breath. How much more can you witness and be restful in the way it's happening? Last 3 breaths. Taking your time, just gently start to come out of the shape. Your choice for movement, alternate options, perhaps a twist. And to take the bent knee side out of the shape. Maybe it's self-massage, maybe it's some flowing movements. Whatever feels right for you. Accompanied with a deeper breath, we know it feels good. Let's change sides when you feel ready. The left leg is out, the right leg is either bent knee out to the side or turning down towards the floor. And then a gentle leaning across to the left. Maybe something under the ear and in between the ear and shoulder. And your choice around raising the right arm. Maybe you adjust that as we go along. At first, you will feel the left hip really feeling most of the weight. So consciously now sensing into the right side of the pelvis. Can you breathe out to your right seat bone, right thigh, right knee. Heavying and relaxing the true weight of your right side down into the ground. And when we're tipping sideways, be cautious of leaning too far back. It helps a little if we pitch forwards just a touch. So we're just adjusting those slight little micro adjustments. Finding a way into a place where we can be still. We can breathe out and stay. And then turning the attention to the mind. We notice the usual ways. How does the mind show up today? Perhaps it's well behaved, maybe quiet even. It's interesting when we start to take a look at the mind, what we start to see. But the witness doesn't need it to be any certain way. All the witness is interested in is just simply observing. Like you're standing at a distance from the mind. For these last 2 minutes, let's simply watch, staying present in the moment. All we need to do is watch. Last minute here. Resting in the body, resting in your breath. Resting in that role of the witness. No need to respond, just simply watch. Last 3 breaths. And just very slow, take care of your neck, your head's position, coming out of the shape. And alleviating any residual sensations with maybe a little twist or a reposition of some kind. The side leaning can be quite impactful on the spinal joints, but also the attachments of the ribs, the neck. So it should feel quite nice to move those areas after we've been holding in the pose for a little while and really instigating that circulation coming back through. All right, we are going to come down onto our belly facing forwards. Let's move into Sphinx. Down onto our tummies. Maybe a cushion or a bolster underneath the chest. Stretching out our legs. Feeling the pelvis and the belly land. And assisting your head and neck to be supported as you go. Your block, your hands. Making sure that you are comfortable here. And then using a few out breaths to really connect in a grounded way. Just feel through those out breaths, your body's weight, greeting the earth today. And any micro or macro adjustments you might need for your body, just see to them. enabling yourself to sustain, enabling ourselves to stay. Relaxing in. Use an out breath to feel the restful quality within. Really unhook the jaw. Relaxing the muscular palate of the inner mouth. Let the tongue broaden and soften in the floor of the mouth. Relaxing not only the muscles around the face, but imagining you could go deeper and resting the soft tissue within the face. Relaxing through the eyes, the eyebrows, and softening into your third eye center. Let's bring our attention to the third eye center as we witness the mind. And there is a distinct amount of presence here. Being aware of old habit patterns of going along with thoughts. The witness role is different. It's like we take a step back and we view the mind. And we become aware of the passing through of thoughts. We also become aware of the spaces between the thoughts. And to play with this witnessing role, to ask you to bring particular attention to amplifying the spaces between the thoughts. So when you realize you're in a spaciousness within the mind, that you take that space up fully, like your attention is expanding outwards. And we stay in that space of expansion of the spaciousness for as long as the mind allows. We don't fight thoughts, but we invite ourselves to stay in the spacious quality of the mind between the thoughts. Last 2 minutes here, adjusting if you need in your body to stay with that restful edge and breathe. Ah, 60 seconds left. Final round of 3 breaths. And take your time as we move into a transition phase here. We might simply just rest on the earth. The choice of how you transition through now. Take your time to feel. As you're moving and shifting around, take care of your body, take care of your lower back. Maybe as you sit up at some stage, you might just gently massage the low back or take a rounding, like an exaggerated cat pose, infant's pose, or child's pose. And we are going to reposition somewhat for the next shape. I'll start to talk about it and you can find your way there when you're ready. We're going to move into the only standing yin pose that we practice, which is called dangling pose, and it's a forward bend. So for this one, you will need to slowly take care of your blood pressure, stand up, and using your bolster, maybe using a wall, you can lean your hips against the wall, and the bolster out in front, we simply bow forwards and come into a forward fold where we are supported. Now, if you don't have a bolster today, simply rest your hands or your elbows, forearms on the thighs with the knees bent. Otherwise, the stacking of a bolster, maybe a blanket on top. The legs separate, so your stance is wide and steady as you bow forwards when you feel ready. And if it feels okay for the neck, just letting your head drop down, the crown of the head towards the ground. If not, using your elbows to rest into the cushion or the legs and holding your head with the cupping of your jaw with your hands. Let's bring a lot of the circulation now into the head as it drops forwards and down. Feeling a gentle stretch through the back of the body, compressing through the belly's inner organs, and letting go to the witness, the watcher, the observer of your mind. And as much as possible, can we drape the body so we are not muscularly holding on? Give way to the grounding. Give way to the heaviness. Giving way to the letting go. Loosen the jaw. Really soften through the inner mouth. Let your neck lengthen at the back, tractioning the spine with the heaviness of the head, gently teasing the vertebra of the neck and the spine away from any compression. Let gravity hold you. Two more minutes if that feels okay for you. If not, simply come out or adjust as you need. Last minute. Last 3 deepening breaths. Good. Now take your time, maybe crouch down slow or hold on to the wall. Coming down to the floor when you're ready. And when you feel to, laying down on your back. Taking some time to rest. Letting your body just feel the changes post-pose. Staying warm, making sure you're comfortable. And just give yourself a few quiet moments. Let's take a minute just to rest. You might roll your head or neck from side to side. Position the feet and the arms a little wider away from the body. Just let down your whole body into gravity, into the earth. Holding on to nothing. Just being able to observe everything. You can take some deeper breaths down into the belly. Feel the way that Yin Yoga works, that deep sense inside of beautiful ease and calm for the nervous system. Does it remind you of anything? Is it like a sense of being at the ocean? Is there a sense of being on the mountain? Perhaps it's just a sense of being really in a calm and comfortable space within yourself. And stay on your back, but gently walk your feet in towards your hips. Feet on the ground, knees pointing up to the sky. And then crossing over the right ankle, over the left knee. Coming into an eye of the needle shape on your back. What we'll do to start with, though, is keep the left foot on the ground. Position the arms in line with your shoulders. And with the left foot staying on the ground, just gently let your legs fall across to the left, controlling it just through the front of the belly, toning in. Little stretch for the lower back and the side ribs. Let's pick the legs up off and away from the left side, bringing them back into center. And then moving them across to the right, but keeping the left foot on the ground at all times. Little twist for the lower back and into the pelvis. And let's move like this through the middle and then back over to the left again. Contracting your abdominals a little to create the movement back through the center. Moving from left to right. Moving from left to right a few more times, each direction. One more time to each side. Closing the front ribs in, pulling the abdominals down towards the spine. We finish on the right side and then come back into center. Uncross the legs and let's start again. Left ankle this time over the right knee. Keeping right foot grounded, let's take the legs across to the right. Arms are open in line with the shoulders. Feel the stretch through the outer top hip, the lower spine, as we move back through center and keep going. That little twist that really rinses and flushes out the lower back. That lets you know where things have been a little tight or tense. Twice more each side. Good, should be coming up to the last one right about now. All right, then bring it back to center. Uncross the legs and let the legs lengthen, taking a full body stretch. Point the feet, flex the toes, roll the ankles. Do the same with the hands, stretch out the fingers, then make fists and rotate through your wrists. Breathing out, bringing your arms back down by your sides. We'll finish with just a minute of internal rotation through the legs on both sides. So walk the feet in, knees point to sky. Cross the right knee over the left knee, like you're sitting at a desk and you're crossing over the legs. And then lifting the feet off the ground, bring the knees in towards the chest and reach up with your hands to hold a bind. Now your legs are like a shoelace. They're crossed and you're holding on to the top knee. We're just holding here, stretching out the lower back for 1 minute. Relaxing in to the inner thighs, softening in to the groins, letting the weight of your legs come towards your belly, letting the weight of the thigh bones fall towards your tummy. being present to the practice of witnessing the mind. Taking our last 3 breaths. Letting go of our legs, uncrossing. Transitioning, take a stretch or a rest. And when you're ready, feet walk in, knees bend, left leg over the right. Shoelace pose, internal rotation for the inner thighs. Last 3 breaths. Very slowly, let's release. Coming into a comfortable position to take your final resting pose. Let's make our bodies comfortable. Let's find a place to rest. Making sure that you're warm enough, that you are supported enough, so you can let go. Very slowly starting to bring your attention back into the space around you, the space below you. And as you bring your attention to the third eye, the spaciousness of the mind within, as you witness and you watch, can you notice and stay for a few moments with the space that's internal today? Take a breath to it. Choosing whether you stay down and rest some more, or slowly start to come back with awareness into the room, starting to invite some movement if that's you, gently instigating an awakening, and slowly in your own time, coming back. You might position and seated. Hands can come to heart. Thank you for practicing today. As together we bow forwards. Namaste. Thank you so much for your observation, your witnessing attention today. I hope you were able to identify some space within the mind. I look forward to seeing you again.